Okay, so you know that feeling when you're just like going about your day and suddenly, bam, itchy gums. Like, what is that? It makes you want to brush your teeth 10 times in a row, even if you just flossed. Well, you asked for it and we're diving in. This deep dive is all about itchy gums.
And it's a question we get a lot. Yeah, it seems like such a small thing, but as you'll find out, itchy gums can actually give us a lot of information. They can be a real window into what's going on in our mouths and even our overall health.
Okay, so before we go full on Sherlock Holmes on our gums, let's lay down the facts. We're working with excerpts from an article called Why Are My Gums Itchy? It seems pretty comprehensive. It covers all the bases, like why it happens, how worried should we be, and even some home remedies for relief.
Yeah, it's a great overview. And the first thing to remember is this. Experiencing itchy gums is totally normal. It happens to pretty much everyone at some point.
So, not just me frantically Googling, why are my gums itchy at 2 a.m.
Well,
Okay, that's reassuring. But if it's so common, what's actually going on in there? I'm guessing plaque is involved.
you know it. Plaque, that sticky film that builds up on our teeth, is public enemy number one when it comes to itchy gums. But here's where the science gets really neat. It's not just the plaque itself causing the irritation, it's the chain reaction it sets off.
Okay, I'm intrigued. Break it down for me.
Think of it like this. Plaque is like a thriving city for bacteria. These bacteria feed on the sugars in our food, and as they break down those sugars, they release byproducts.
Hmm.
Acids, toxins, and these byproducts. They irritate and inflame your gum tissue.
So it's like a microscopic war zone, and our core gums are caught in the crossfire.
Exactly. And those inflammatory molecules released by the bacteria? Well, they send signals that bring your body's defenses rushing to the scene. That's why you might notice your gums getting red, puffy, and yes, itchy.
So basically, our body's trying to fight back against those pesky bacteria, and the itching is just a side effect of that battle. Makes sense. But what happens if we don't win that battle? I've heard whispers about something called tartar.
Ah, yes, tartar. Consider it plaque's more formidable older sibling. If you don't remove plaque regularly through brushing and flossing, it hardens, almost like cement, becoming tartar. And tartar is even more irritating to your gums because it's bigger and rougher, so it gives those bacteria even more space to cling to and multiply.
So not only is tartar harder to remove at home, but it's basically like rolling out the welcome mat for even more troublemakers in our mouths.
You got it. And if this situation is left unchecked, it can progress to the first stage of gum disease, gingivitis.
Gingivitis. Okay, that sounds a lot less fun than a microscopic rave.
Yeah.
What does that look like exactly? Paint me a hopefully not too terrifying picture.
Imagine this. Your gums are no longer their usual pink and healthy selves. Instead, they're red, maybe a little swollen, and they might even bleed a bit when you brush or floss.
So basically not the kind of signs you want to ignore, more like a flashing neon sign to pay attention to our oral health.
Precisely. It's our body's way of saying, hey, something's not right here. Time to step up the oral hygiene game. But here's the thing. Even when you are diligent with your brushing and flossing, you might still experience those pesky, itchy gums.
Wait, what? There's more? I thought plaque was the main culprit.
It often is. But the article also delves into some sneakier culprits. And that's where it gets really interesting. Because sometimes itchy gums are about more than just what's happening in your mouth.
Okay, now you've got my full attention. Let's talk about these lesser-known itch triggers. So we're going beyond bad brushing habits here. What are some of those surprising causes of itchy gums?
Well, one thing that might surprise you is that your itchy gums could be a sign of allergies.
Really? You're telling me that pollen could be to blame for my gum woes?
It's not as far-fetched as it sounds. Your mouth is a major entry point to your body, just like your nose. So when you encounter an allergen, your immune system kicks into gear. And sometimes that immune response can trigger inflammation in unexpected places, like your gums.
So if someone's prone to like seasonal allergies or even food sensitivities, those could manifest as itchy gums.
Exactly. It's called oral allergy syndrome, and it often pops up in people who already experience things like hay fever or asthma.
Wow, that's wild. So those sniffles and sneezes could be accompanied by some unhappy gums. I learn something new every day on this show. What about other unexpected culprits?
Hormones. Those things can wreak havoc on our bodies in countless ways, and our gums aren't immune.
Oh, tell me about it. I'm pretty sure I sprouted a whole new set of gums during pregnancy.
Well, you're not alone. Pregnancy can definitely impact gum health. That surge in hormones can make your gums extra sensitive and more vulnerable to inflammation. sometimes even leading to a specific type of gingivitis called pregnancy gingivitis.
So those hormonal shifts can basically turn up the volume on all those gum symptoms.
Precisely. And it's not just pregnancy. Even things like starting or stopping birth control pills or going through menopause can throw your hormones out of whack and impact your gums. It's all about those delicate balances in the body.
Wow, hormones. They're powerful stuff. Okay, so we've covered the usual suspects like plaque and some of those sneakier triggers like allergies and hormones. But what about those times when it's more than just an annoyance? When does that little itch become a see a dentist ASAP situation?
That's a crucial question. Remember how we talked about gingivitis being the early stage of gum disease? Well, if it's not addressed, it can progress to a more serious condition called periodontitis, also known as gum disease.
Okay, time for a dose of reality. How worried should we be about gum disease?
Well, in the most straightforward terms, untreated gum disease can lead to tooth loss. And that's not exactly the outcome anyone wants.
Yikes. That definitely got my attention. How does that even happen?
Gum disease doesn't just affect your gums, it actually attacks the bone and ligaments that support your teeth. Think of it like this. Your teeth are like sturdy pillars, and the bone and ligaments are the foundation that holds them in place. Gum disease weakens that foundation, making it easier for your teeth to loosen and eventually, in severe cases, fall out.
Okay, that's a visual I won't soon forget.
Yeah.
So early intervention is key here, right? Catching it early is way better than dealing with those consequences down the line.
Absolutely. Think of gingivitis like a small fire. It's much easier to put out when it's small and contained. But if you ignore it, it can turn into a raging inferno that's much harder to control. That's why those early signs, the redness, the puffiness, the bleeding, should never be ignored.
So if you notice those signs, don't just brush them off, literally. Get yourself to the dentist.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, let's talk about what we can actually do about itchy gums. I'm hoping there are some at-home remedies we can try because, honestly, I'd rather try a DIY approach before booking an appointment.
You and me both. And the good news is there are some simple yet effective home remedies that can provide relief, depending on the cause of your itchy gums.
Okay, I'm all ears. Hit me with your best shot. What can we try at home?
Well, you might be surprised to learn that tea tree oil, that stuff you might use for skin irritations, can actually work wonders for itchy gums.
Wait, really? Like a little tea tree oil mouthwash action?
Exactly. Tea tree oil has natural antibacterial and anti-inflammatory properties. There's actually a study that showed it can be just as effective as some medicated mouthwashes in reducing gingivitis and improving overall gum health.
Wow. So a natural remedy with some science-backed benefits. I'm here for it. What about other natural approaches?
Another interesting avenue is probiotics. You know how we hear about probiotics being great for gut health?
Sure. I try to incorporate yogurt and fermented foods into my diet for that very reason.
Well, it turns out those good bacteria can work their magic in your mouth, too.
No way. So my daily yogurt habit is doing double duty.
You got it. Probiotics can help balance out the oral microbiome, basically bringing in reinforcements to fight off those bad bacteria that are causing all the trouble.
Okay, so we're talking about arming our mouths with the good guys to fight off the bad guys. I'm into it. Any other home remedies worth trying? So we've got tea tree oil, we've got probiotics, all those good guys. What else can we do to combat itchy gums? I am all about prevention.
Prevention is key, and the good news is a lot of it comes down to simple habits we should already have on our radar.
Okay, lay it on me. What are the golden rules for happy, itch-free gums?
The article really emphasizes good oral hygiene. Brushing at least twice a day with fluoride toothpaste and flossing daily are absolute musts. It sounds basic, but you'd be surprised how many people skip these steps.
Right, like we've all been there, exhausted at the end of a long day, ready to just crash. But that little voice in your head, or maybe it's your dentist whispering from afar, is like, don't you dare skip flossing.
Exactly. And it's not just about brushing and flossing. Remember those bacteria we talked about? They absolutely feast on food debris. So even if you can't brush after every meal, rinsing your mouth with water can make a world of difference.
Okay, so we're disrupting those bacterial banquets in our mouths.
Yeah.
Like it. And I'm guessing regular dentist visits are also non-negotiable.
Absolutely. Think of those checkups as preventative maintenance for your mouth. Your dentist can spot any early signs of trouble, give your teeth a professional cleaning that's way more thorough than anything you can do at home, and offer personalized advice for keeping your gums in tip-top shape.
Makes sense. It's like taking your car in for a tune-up. You might not think you need it, but it's always better to be safe than sorry. So we've got hygiene covered, dentist visits, anything else?
Well, the article mentions some lifestyle factors that can play a role. Smoking, for instance, is a major no-no. It weakens your immune system and makes it harder for your gums to fight off infection.
Right, smoking, bad for your health in general, bad for your gums specifically. Got it. Any other surprising culprits we should be aware of?
Here's a proactive tip. Try keeping a food journal for a while.
A food journal for itchy gums. Okay, now I'm really curious.
It might sound strange, but some people find that certain foods trigger their gum issues. Think about things like acidic fruits, citrus, tomatoes, spicy foods, or even sugary treats. By tracking what you eat and any gum reactions you experience, you might be able to pinpoint your personal trigger foods and avoid them in the future.
Wow, fascinating. It's like being a detective, but for your gums. So to wrap it up, itchy gums are incredibly common. The causes can range from the obvious, looking at you plaque, to the unexpected, allergies and hormones, who knew, and early intervention is key.
That's a great summary. And remember, even though itchy gums can seem like a minor annoyance, they can sometimes be a sign of something more serious going on. So listen to your body, don't ignore those signs, and reach out to your dentist if you're concerned.
Couldn't have said it better myself. Now, before we sign off, I've got one last thought bubble for you, dear listener. We've spent a lot of time today talking about what causes itchy gums, how to treat them, and ways to prevent them. But I think it's important to take a moment to reflect on why this topic resonated with you. Was it the desire for relief from those pesky itches? Or maybe a deeper curiosity about the connection between oral health and overall well-being? Whatever it is, hold on to that curiosity and keep exploring. As always, we love hearing from you, so feel free to share your own experiences, questions, and even those aha moments with us. Until next time, keep brushing, keep flossing, and keep those gums healthy and happy.